Okay, so what do you see in this picture?
All together for climate smart agriculture, and then big corporation running over the fields. Yeah, it's a big capital and their interest in agriculture. It's what we see in Sweden as well. Big farmers getting bigger, have to specialize even more, get loans, get bigger machines, and then going bankrupt either way. In Sweden, the margins in the economy for farmers are very, very slim. So, and they are forced to go even bigger, go even more specialized, and go into debt even more. And most of them, a few of them are successful competing on the European market, but most of them are falling out. Mm-hmm. We're losing 4 milk farmers every week, and even modern farmers that have up to 100, 150 cows are falling out because they can't earn money for it. And and all this is making it even harder for new farmers to come in.
So you are a new young farmer in Sweden?
I am a somewhat young farmer in Sweden, but I had the opportunity to go to my family farm without having to buy new equipment, to buy new land, which is very, very rare in Sweden.
So it's difficult to have access to land for young farmers normally?
Yeah,
or?
It's really hard to buy new agricultural land, and even if your family has a farm and you're supposed to be the next generation, if there is more than one kid in the family, they have to split the value of the farm between them. So if one is going to continue the farming, he has to give the other one half the value of the farm, which means going into debt immediately or selling all the forest, or So normally the farming stops when this generation that's farming now is retiring. So then they sell the farmland to the closest farmer or to a forest company who plants spruce, and then they have a summer house and quit farming. That's how it goes.
So what needs to happen for you to make it easier for young farmers to get into the business or to run a farm?
Well, it all started more or less in the 80s with the liberalization, and then when we entered the EU, it became really much liberalized, and all the land is out for speculation. So before you had to have the knowledge of farming to have access to farming land. So there was a demand for knowledge. There was also the demand of living at the farm. You couldn't just own farmland, you had to be there, and you had to use the farming land as farming. Yeah. And now all that is gone, so anyone can own farming land for any purpose and just use the value, which makes it a lot more open for speculation, which drives the prices up for land. It's the potential of exploiting the land for, I don't know, an airport or making small villas, that sets the price for the land. So the whole liberalization and putting everything out for speculation has made it even harder to get access to land.
And it doesn't increase the climate smart usage of the land, does it?
I mean, we can see it everywhere when they specialize even more because they have to get bigger and compete on the international market. You can see like a part of Sweden is just grain production, fodder production. And there's almost no animals, and another part of Sweden has only the animals for meat production and no fodder production, more or less. Yeah. So one part of Sweden has no nutrients and have to buy everything fossilized nutrients, and the other part of Sweden has mountains of manure and don't know what to do with it, and it's all leaking out in the Baltic Sea. So the climate smart, get big and high-tech farming is destroying the Baltic Sea. So it's not climate smart anywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So young farmers are the future, in your opinion?
Well, I hope so. I don't see it as a process ongoing right now, because we're losing more and more. But it should be smaller units and diversified farming units. It could be big scale if it's cooperative but still, the diversification is what I see as the most important thing that needs to happen in farming in Sweden, to at least have both fodder production and animal. Okay. To at least go that far. We also need to recognize the traditional farming in Sweden, where you had the forestry as part of your farm. That was very important. because then the farming business can be quite small farming units, because you complement it with you add on the forestry as well. So once the forest business in Sweden really got going, and all the really big forest companies owns almost all the forests, and they're putting the price really low for just making paper, really. Then farming just has to be about farming. So then you're losing the smallest farms units out, because they can't really handle the forestry anymore. So that's a part that's quite special for Sweden, that you have the small farmers both as forestry workers and agriculture. So
it's a diversification.
It's a diversification there as well. But yeah, we have some really big dominant actors on the forestry market, which yeah, you have to sell to them, otherwise there's no options. So they are making it hard to diversify in that way as well.
So hopefully we can change it for the better.
Hopefully, but it will take a lot of struggle and yeah, some hard-necked fights.
Yeah, well, if you look at the picture again, it's like the big corporations and not the small farmers at the moment.
Yeah.
But hopefully that changes.
Hopefully. We don't see, we have the social democracy in Sweden right now as well, with the left party and the environmental party supporting, and we don't see any change in the policies. It's still going the same direction. They're making it even harder now for small milking parlors, making it more strict, so you have to more or less sell to the industry.
Yeah.
Like we are not allowed to sell unpasteurized milk to the neighbors, which I know for a fact that you can do in other parts of Europe. But we have a big dominant company called Arla who is setting the rules.
You're forced to join the market.
More or less, yeah. They are buying up all the small milking. What do you call it? Milking, not industries.
Products. All the small milking industries.
Yeah. You sell the milk too. That sells the products. Yeah. So they're buying them up, and so we lost so many of them during the last 40 years or something. There is a little bit of hope going on. There's some small ones, farmers going together as a collective to start a new way to enter the market outside the Arla dominance. So there is a little bit of hope. It's all company. It's all about the economy, to get the economy going for the farmers. There's no social or political aspect of those initiatives, which is lacking a little bit. Which is where Via Campesina should play a bigger role in Sweden. Yeah. It should be a little bit less about the business, a little bit more about the social issues as well.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Hopefully that works, yeah. And we're seeing a little bit increase in the consumer part of farming. Increased knowledge about food and the nutritional values, and a will to meet directly with the farmer as well. So we're getting some support from groups who are not farmers but who wants good products.
Which is important.
Which is important, absolutely.